go. Welcome back to the Danganronpa Co-op. I am KrysInColor. This is LyziNoPo.
Hi.
We're balls deep in the trial, guys. Let's just finish it out.
Alrighty.
Also, yeah, last episode, we found out a lot in the previous parts of the trial, which is on Lizzie's channel. Go ahead and check it out. Please subscribe to her and me as well. We appreciate you guys.
I was smart, which means I get to be really dumb in this episode.
No, don't do that.
Can we really say there's no chance two people work together on this?
You're starting off strong by taking my voice. Okay, so last episode we got the right truth bullet.
Yes.
Now we just gotta put it in the right, refute the right statement.
And assuming the rule holds true. It is simply No, that's wrong.
Be quiet, Celeste.
Break!
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
That was actually what I was going to question. Like, earlier on, I mentioned that I was questioning something, and this is exactly the point, so I'm glad I shut up long enough for us to get to this point.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
He got manipulated.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
Which is solidifying one of my guesses. It's solidifying one of my theories.
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
Yeah, for me to convince us that two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed the fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing. Although,
You are in love.
when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
Yeah, I already know who it is.
Yeah.
That's problem numero uno right now.
Who else
Who else was Hifumi?
bending over backwards for?
Yeah.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end, murdered him. In debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seemed to fit. Who is it, LyziNoPo?
This bitch right here.
Here's my answer.
Yeah, you were right from the beginning.
It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I?
You've been the suspicious individual
You
since
get-
the beginning, since you talked about suspicious individuals.
I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke?
Alright, sorry, we'll shut
I
up.
wonder.
I wonder. Knock, knock.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi.
No one else fucking would.
Yeah.
You didn't make tea for none of the rest of us.
The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brain fat, lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot!
Your accent slipped away there.
Pardonnez-moi.
What are you imitating? Are you German? Are you French? What are you?
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
Mm-hmm. What is it that only Ifumi Celeste had in common? The screaming?
I kind of want to.
Up to you.
I'm
Well, it's true that both of them did a lot of screaming, but I don't think that's it.
Shoot!
Why does it count when he doesn't actually fucking say it?
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it?
Sure
The
does.
only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush. The adults are talking now.
Hey!
Yeah, we figured it out!
Sorry.
As he said,
Muffled up.
only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual.
You never want to fucking talk aside from the one time that I'm doing smart shit.
If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
Yep.
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow of something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen. Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
Is that what you call blood curdling?
and when we'd all
Right?
come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong?
That was a rather intense scream for someone like you.
I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. Blocking the stairs, he headed further down the hallway. We've seen this like a million times now.
Once she'd
Yep.
done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Yeah!
What was that? That came from downstairs, must have been Hifumi. In the nurse's office.
It's back. Come on, we gotta go back. We know.
We fucking get
was
it.
to get us to divide into two groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split up into groups?
I'll leave the hunting party. That seems to be much more interesting.
Very well, then Makoto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office, blah blah blah. I will leave the capture of this suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
Do we get to hear it again? That is not a piercing cry.
That's like she saw a spider or something.
That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we are on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
Again, did it?
Yeah.
It didn't carry across a puddle of water. Like,
I just
quiet now.
realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
Why are we surprised? She was like, no, like, wasn't her nickname like the Queen of Liars?
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed.
Bitch, what did you just say about me?
Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Well, I
Don't
believe
bother
her.
trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say
Ooh.
that one little slip-up was
You
your
know
undoing.
what? You know what he's talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What?
What are you talking about?
When she mentioned that both of them had been murdered. And she hadn't been informed about Taka.
Right?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
They must really be enjoying this, enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. We're going to die just like those guys died.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
I
Pay
do.
attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's
Yes.
comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
For fuck's sake, Hero.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment didn't make any sense. But what is he alluding to? Let's find out.
Yeet. More debate.
Mm-hmm.
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
When she said that, she should have only known about Hifumi's death. With that in mind, what's so strange about what she said is...
Okay, so I think I have to absorb the last one and then hit
They
the
must really
those
be
guys.
enjoying this.
Yes.
Enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to. We are going to die. Just and that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious if what was so strange about Celeste's comment.
You got it.
Yay!
So, yeah.
All I said was they must really be enjoying the sight of us. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys
Yeah.
died.
No,
Shut up, Celeste.
It's wrong! You're wrong, hero! It's just him on the screen. Frank!
that's
Very
right.
good job.
There's
Yeah.
no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall.
For being the Queen of Liars, she isn't a very good liar.
So there was never
I mean, she
any
just- I
chance
feel like
for
she
her
just
to
took
have
on more
seen his
than
body
she
in the
could handle.
equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Don't you laugh at me.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations.
What are those? How much are they?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw. Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
That looks really staged.
Yeah.
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
No, baby
Have
boy.
you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer. In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Because you're lying.
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanations?
Other explanations?
Keep forgetting. This is your episode.
If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Fumi away, the only other possibility is...
Hifumi and the suspect have been drinking.
Seriously, what do you think it is?
I don't... Actually, I kind of think it is have been drinking. Because Hiro mentioned that he passed out. And he doesn't remember passing out. And he thinks he might have been drugged. He doesn't even remember how he got into that costume.
Okay, try it. No, I really don't think that's right.
Shoot!
You didn't fucking say it out loud, though!
What happens to... Well, you said you could be dumb in this episode.
There was a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away.
That's a good guess, though. You had a really good guess. But no, he's just dragging the suspect away.
I got it! It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility.
They could all also been drinking, I mean...
The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around.
Hiro mentioned passing out, so it's like... Drinking can cause that if you drink too much.
Well, there's no alcohol in here. In the school.
And the strange costume might only exist to lead us
How do
astray
we know that for
even
sure,
farther.
though?
I mean, did you see any alcohol besides Hiro mentioning he's 21?
No, but I also didn't see Taka's wristwatch, and that came into play.
Well, you're blind as shit, that's why!
So maybe I didn't see the alcohol because I'm blind as shit!
If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Cat fight!
Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away? Is that really possible?
Time for another non-stop debate.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight! You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
They have no choice but to stand up straight.
idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
Did they just call him an idiot again?
If I remember right, Hina said, she said that they couldn't bend at the waist.
Yay!
Dressed me up in that suit
you're
after
on the
I
right
passed
track.
out! Then you just draped me across. You tried to make me look like the bad.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like
There
that.
you go.
No.
I don't know why I was thinking it was the other one.
It's okay.
I knew it was. I knew it was like one of those
No.
phrases, but
Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
It couldn't bend at the waist.
you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight. We've been over this.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
That's just how cosplay is
I'm not
sometimes.
so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Oh, she looks pissed now.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
What was that noise?
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
This isn't chess, you asshole!
Checkmate?
Oh no, she turned
Don't
upside
make
down.
me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate?
Your accent's gone again.
Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Nice boobs. I mean, I'm sorry.
It just caught me off guard. Hey, Hifumi, who was it? Who attacked you? Who tried to kill you?
Who killed me? That's right. I remember their name. Yasuhiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not?
Why is your voice...
Voice so high, right?
He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Right! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Alright, don't lie now. Alright, don't lie, Hiro.
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
That can be disproven with the hand.
Yeah, don't play Byakuya from the last trial.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Jesus Christ!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
For serious was Hiro.
Yeah. He gave everyone a nickname that's just like Jack.
He said people's last names.
Yep.
That's right. Our last names.
Yeah.
He called us all by our last names.
Except for that one instance where Kyoko scared the piss out of him and he called us Makoto.
Exactly.
Yes.
I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example. So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name.
Nope.
Indecent?
He was cordial to Laverian.
Don't talk.
Okay.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation?
You know?
No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal.
I think I get what's going on here.
But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Celestia Ludenberg is an awfully weird name for a Japanese girl. I assume everyone here is Japanese, but...
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
Remember the very first time you met Celeste, and Makoto asks, "Sorry, but what's your real name?" And
Yeah.
Celeste insisted that Celestia Ludenberg was her real name.
Yeah, that's a weird name for someone who is...
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit!
Be like me and do both.
Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather. Yasuhiro is a loser's name. Do I look like a loser to you?
Hey!
Well, do I?
Well, I mean, you've lost this trial, Celeste.
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
You're past a little on edge. You went straight over the edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
So, make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up!
I'm wearing headphones. I can't do that.
My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Shut up, Westaboo. Celeste still won't give up, so then...
I have to do something to make her accept it.
I know exactly what to do!
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
how many times do I have to tell you? My name is... Celestia Ludenberg! God damn it!
Why is it upside down?
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
Don't do that, Gabe. Lizzie already has trouble reading right side up.
It's
Honestly,
the
though.
truth.
Oh.
And since you have no way to contradict me,
I want to listen to the last one.
that's the only truth there is! Moron!
I know, I told her to hit it, but she didn't want to. And I remember there's something here that shows its owner's real name. I'm sure Kyoko mentioned something like that at some point. It may not be related to the case, but it might come in handy anyway. Sorry, what were you saying?
I just wanted to listen to all
You wanted
the
us to know the
things.
killers. If there's one person...
It would have to be you, Celeste.
How many times? Celestia Ludenberg! God damn it!
How long do you plan to go on?
I'm not pretending.
I thought it was another language at first,
No
actually.
way to contradict.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Show us that handbook, baby!
That's it. The handbook.
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up, right? Monokuma told us all about it before.
This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you set it up, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that!
I'm so glad I remembered that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
Then that's just an admission of guilt at this point.
Yeah.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
That is
Fine.
true.
Let me settle it.
But you're guilty, bitch.
Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes. And that'll bring everything to an end.
Time for your closing arguments. Wonderful face we come back on. So it looks like they're meeting each other. So it'd have to be this one. And then going over. So Hero's entering the room. So that'd be 1 a.m. I like that they make the whole clock face the thing. That's pretty cool.
Okay, this is the one that had... Then we go over here, stuffing him into the suit. How does his hair fit? How'd they manage this?
I know.
That's the question I've had this
It's like
entire time.
It's like a dirty mop on top of his head. Okay, so it looks like they're...
I love the face there.
So all the faces of Fumi makes in this look really great, actually. It would be, yeah, them taking the picture. Look at him.
Aw, I miss you, baby boy. I miss him so much.
Okay, so it looks like Keondo's holding the watch. I kind of like the dyed hair look on him, though.
I like it in this. I didn't like it in general, but mostly because of the extra fiery eye bullshit. It was distracting.
Okay, Fumi swings the hammer. Hits your boy.
My boy, I'm sorry.
So Celeste had a camera. Is that a camera? And then, let's see.
What is this?
That's Fumi getting pegged by Celeste, I suppose.
Why did you have to put that mental image in my
know.
head?
Okay, so it looks like this is where we found Justice Hammer 2.
Yeah. Okay, then magical girl transformation.
Moon prism power! Make up!
Alright.
And he moved a body.
Wait.
I assume that's moving body because tarp.
No, there's no tarp here. This is later on. So, he's putting the blood... Yeah.
Okay.
We found Justice Hammer 3 next to him.
Okay.
So like, ah! And then, huh! And then, and then, huh! And then, we moved on.
My baby boy.
Oh, get it. He's dead. Move on. Get over it. He's dead.
I'm in mourning.
It's afternoon, first of all. Just kidding. Okay, very good.
Okay, so then he wraps Taka up in a tarp, moves him. I love that his hair wags like a tail. It's weirdly endearing, and yet I hate it at the same time because it's Hifumi. And he killed my boy. And whack!
Alright.
The killer
Perfect.
is you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was
Hifumi!
Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes.
Wakey wakey, Yasuhiro!
First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning.
Why him specifically?
I don't know exactly.
That
what the fuck did
someone
he
they
do?
met with was Hiro.
I guess somebody else would have been like... I guess they picked... Like, okay.
I guess they picked the dumbest one.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it that harsh, but yeah. Everyone else would have been like, no, it was Hifumi who drugged me. Celeste was there, you know?
Yeah.
The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit.
Like, how does he not remember any of this, though?
Next, Hifumi positioned
Maybe it was
himself to
chloroform?
make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him.
I would think that he'd remember at least a little
Well, the
bit
killer
of
used
something,
a
though.
digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room.
Why him?
You'll find out why. It's a dumb reason.
And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room. The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes. So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents. For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims, to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1, and the Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken. They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2, and an injured Hifumi, to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds.
I don't think they would have been able to pull off half this stuff if Kyoko wouldn't have just disappeared.
Yeah.
That the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But while we did that, we left Hifumi alone in the nurse's office. This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for. We took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office.
Where's the blood?
And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for.
Why is he
This
clean
time,
again?
He snuck into the equipment room.
Good point, actually. Inconsistencies!
Wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared. But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act. Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them. And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository. That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
Who is it, LyziNoPo?
Celestia Lundenberg, or whatever the fuck her real name is.
You'll find out soon what it is. But yeah! I love this photo, by the way.
Celeste. Sorry, you lose.
Bitch. He
Yeah!
just throws that in there. Complete!
I lost?
There was something I noticed in that, but I'll bring it up in a little bit.
I
Okay.
lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
That's probably just that weird bow thing.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Lundenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
What?
Her real name is Taiko Yasuhiro.
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Her voice completely changed too!
Yeah, it was a fake voice. Fake voice, fake name.
Bye, Ash!
Yeah, sorry about our cat. You did it! Hooray! Okay, don't go any further. As always, we have the explanation of why they did it, and then we have to go into that person's backstory, and then the execution. Before we go, I got something to read to you. First of all, congrats. You figured it out all on your own. That Hifumi killed Taka, and then Celeste, otherwise known as Taiko Yasuhiro, killed Hifumi.
I'm really sad about Taka still.
I know.
He...
It's cool.
Anyway, you have a thing, right?
Yeah, speaking of Taka, let's talk about the unused execution, known as, this was a mouthful, Prime Minister Kiyotaka Ishimaru's inaugural parade.
Oh no.
Taka sits on a vehicle and answers people's cheers in the middle of a huge, gorgeous parade. The crowd has posters that say things such as, "Hooray for Prime Minister Ishimaru!" In the next moment, Monokuma pops up resembling the Golgo 13, a fictional assassin, and kills him with a shot through the heart.
Ow!
Yeah, let me just show you the image. Drawn again by I'm forgetting the name. I don't want to mess it up, so here it is. This is the name of the person who drew this.
Ow!
Yeah.
That hurts.
At the very least, we got some kind of vindication for his murder. What do you think about the trial overall? Let me just get your opinion on it. Fresh off the trial, what'd you think?
Honestly, this one was weird.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it super interesting, but it wasn't... I don't know, I feel like everything... Like, I feel like for as important as it was, I feel like it should have been better, but I don't know how to describe what way I would want it to be better.
Yeah, a lot of people consider this to be one of... probably the worst trial in this game.
One issue I do... one problem... It's not really an issue. This is kind of a me thing. I've mentioned before in the series that I have really bad ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And during the previous 2 trials, I had not taken my meds on the day that we recorded them. I don't know whether the puzzles were just easier for me to solve because of my own brain function, or if they were just genuinely easier to solve.
Right.
But they did seem kind of lackluster in a way. But again, I'm not sure if that's a me thing, or if that's just game thing. I don't know. But either way, I feel like Taka was too much of an afterthought in it. After all the focus that had been put on him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they kind of just gave him a really lackluster death.
After all he'd been through with Mondo and Chihiro, like...
Yeah, I feel like he definitely deserved better. I think he deserved to go out in a better way than he did.
One of my biggest regrets of this game is that Taka did not make it to the end. One thing I do want to add, I just found out... I don't know if it's true or not because it wasn't in the text of the unused execution, but I just found another version of the execution where Taka is like, his hand is strapped to a machine that's making him wave. So after he gets shot, his body's still waving at people.
Oh!
Okay, enough making you sad. We gotta end the episode. Thank you guys for watching. Let's check out the aftermath of this trial on LyziNoPo's channel.
Yes.
Go ahead, subscribe to her, subscribe to us as well. Let us know what you guys think of the trial. And that's it. Take care of yourself, y'all. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.